Hello everyone, Josh here with X's, bringing you guys and gals some more Cat Fantasy, and today we're going to be diving into SSR Green Hero Eleanor Edge of Reason. Now, this is one of two new, recently added rate-up heroes to the PTR version of the game, so this hero is, of course, not available on Global yet. We will do the other hero tomorrow, which is Avro. Basically, I'm going to be doing this new series called Sneak Peek, and that's what we're doing here with today's video. This will be our first sneak peek video. I'm going to be breaking down units that are not yet available on Global, so we can talk a little bit and discuss a little bit about these units and how good or bad they may be. We'll even do kind of like a follow-up when we do our summon or skip videos when they do eventually come to Global, because some of these units may not come to Global. Some might not. I'm not sure, and we're not even 100% sure how they're going to be introduced. Some could be a rate up, some could be just introduced right into the general pool. They've done that before. Some can come through an event or collab. Who knows what they're planning to do with the global release schedule? It's already kind of out of whack as it is, but I thought this would be a good introduction into some units that you may not be familiar with, that you can look forward to and hope that they do drop. And, you know, obviously we're not going to know when they drop, but it is nice to look forward to knowing that, hey, this powerful, OP, game-breaking unit is going to be coming at some point. I'm excited. So we are going to be doing that with this little series here. I hope you guys and gals do enjoy. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I do want to stress one thing. Since this is PTR, some of the names are a bit different, you know, for like the skills and stuff like that. I don't know why they decided to name things differently for Global, but they did. Even some of the characters' names are different. However, looking through all the units so far, all the units seem to have the same exact skill sets and stats as they did on PTR, so that is good. So this information should carry over just fine as long as they do any, you know, as long as they don't do anything crazy. So let's hope. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about Eleanor first. She's going to be our first up, and then tomorrow will be Avro. So if you guys want to see Avro, come back tomorrow. We're going to do her ultimate first. Thunder Raid deals damage to a single enemy based on 259% damage, and with each debuff on the target increases the base damage by 2% up to 5 debuffs. So that'd be 10% additional damage. Now she's doing annihilation damage. Damage against targets with debuffs is increased to 2.5 times. Now that sounds very similar to the damage that you would be used to seeing on a green Shiro on Global. However, that damage is slightly different. That damage in PTR is called destruction damage, and it's not the same as annihilation. It's similar, but different. It's the same, but different. Shout out to James Franco for that one. It just came to my mind when I was saying it out loud. Anyway, so basically why it's different is annihilation damage is built on the same premise of being able to do damage based on enemies with debuffs, but it has a stackable mechanic, which you can already kind of tell in the rest of the skill set, which means the damage itself, the raw damage output, is actually going to be less than the damage that you'd be used to with a Shiro. But if you have the right setup, it can actually outdo that type of damage because it has stackable mechanics, and if you can get those stacks to, of course, stack up, there's going to be way more damage output overall. That's why when you see down here that it only goes up to 259%, whereas if we went to another unit, let me just go here quickly to show you what I mean. If we go to, actually we can just do it right from in here. Let's go into the banner, and I'll show you what I mean. Let me find one. Danica will work just fine. So if we go and look at Danica, Danica does destruction damage, so it's different from annihilation. They're both 2.5 times with, you know, when enemies have debuffs. However, hers goes up to 282. So it's 282 versus 259. So as I said, the raw damage for annihilation is slightly less. However, there is the possibility to gain even more through the stackable mechanics that they're going to have. So that is the difference, more or less, loosely, roughly, whatever, between annihilation and destruction. And of course, destruction is the damage that Shiros and Danicas are using on Global, just under a different name. All right, let's go back into her. So that is the ultimate. So it's going to hit pretty hard, obviously. Skill 1, Airstrike Vanguard. At 2-star and 3-star, it allows you to have 2 stack. I'm sorry, wrong skill. I'm jumping ahead. Let me go back. And it goes up to 120% and then up to 170% attack power, single target, and randomly decreases the star level of 1 card in the enemy's deck by 1. Only effective PvP. That is very strong because that can give you board control. If you've ever played a TCG or a TCCG or anything like that, any kind of card game, board control is very powerful because basically if you're able to remove cards or gain cards advantage in a fight or in a match, that's called board control, right? So that's very, very good because you're able to take somebody who's have like a level 2 card or a level 3 card and downgrade it to a 2 or to a 1, basically taking power away from them. And then Devoured randomly increases the star level of one skill card in your deck by 1. Now you're gaining strength and they're losing it. So again, board control there, very, very nice. Second skill. Now this is the one I was kind of jumping the gun on. It got 1 stack of insight on level 1, but at level 2 and level 3 or 2-star and 3-star skill, it goes up to 2 stacks. Up to 135% damage, single target, and it applies 2 stacks of insight. Insight increases annihilation damage received by 3% stackable up to 10 layers. That's 30% additional damage lasting for 2 turns. Now, why that's strong is that's 30%, and when she uses annihilation damage on her ultimate, that's 30% with a 2.5 times multiplier. That is a lot of damage. Now, if it's annihilation damage on just a skill, it won't get to 2.5 times, but on the ultimate, it will. That is massive damage right there. That is a lot of damage output. And it goes up to 30% single target, but it gets better when we do the star perfection. You'll see why in a moment. Passive. When all deployed fighters have a green hero, the attack power of all allies increases by 7%. That goes up to 12%. So that's a nice little attack bonus. And when an enemy with insight uses an attack skill, their insight stack increases by 1, and you can do that up to 3 times per turn. This passive can be used even when she's dead, and it's effective in all modes. So this is very, very strong, because basically when you start inflicting those insights, they're going to start ramping up, especially when these enemies are attacking you multiple times, up to 3 times per turn on her passive. That's a lot of insight stacks starting to build up here. And the reason why I say multiple units or multiple targets is because when we start going to her star effects, it starts getting very, very crazy. After an enemy uses an attack skill, a random enemy is hit with a 1-star precision control, dealing 30% of the original damage. So it's going to be 30% of the 80% damage because it is a 1-star skill, not a 2 or 3. So it's going to be up for 1. It's going to be 1 stack for 2 turns, and it's going to be for 30% of that 80% attack powered attack. That's very strong. You can do that up to once per turn. Okay? And then at 4-star, after using precision control, she additionally applies 1 stack of insight to all enemies. And since your enemies are going to be attacking you at least once every single turn, every enemy is going to get at least 1 stack of insight at 4-star. That's powerful. And that's not even including her using it herself or her passive. All of that kind of playing into it is going to have a lot of insight stacks building up like crazy. And then when using Thunder Raid, her ultimate, the base damage boost increases to 5%, calculating up to 10 debuffs. That's 50% damage that, I remind you, can be applied to the 2.5 times on her ultimate. On top of the insight damage that can also be applied on the 2.5 times. Her ultimate will start hitting like a freaking nuke. Okay? And since insights give more annihilation damage, when you hit them, depending on how many stacks there is, if there's ever any other additional annihilation damage units in your team, they're going to also benefit from that as well. So this hero is going to be a very strong single target damage dealer. Going to be very good in PvP. Just a very overall, very well-rounded unit. Now, is she broken and stuff like that? We'll talk about that more when she drops on Global, if she does, when we do our Summoner Skip video. I just wanted to more or less just give you guys a nice little overview of what these heroes can do. So, our first ever sneak peek hero is SSR Green Eleanor, Edge of Reason. Next up will be Avro, and that'll be either later today or tomorrow, probably more towards tomorrow. I'm kind of getting burned out a little bit. I've done a lot of videos today between this channel and the other one. But if you guys want to see more sneak peek videos, and if you guys want to request any sneak peek units that you are aware of that are going to be coming at some point, let me know, and we'll try and get those ones done sooner than later. But we're going to try and go through all of them if we can. As long as I have the information I need, I'll make these videos for you guys. So that's going to be it for me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tick notifications. Don't forget to tick notifications, like the video, comment below, join us in the Discord in the description below, and join us on X at X's Media. Until next time, as always, peace. My goodness, I'm getting out of here.